Hello, it's Karen in the courtyard. How are you? It is hot here. It's the last day in August, and it's just like normally August in Baltimore. Hot and humid and horrible. It's not my favorite weather, obviously. Anyway, today we're going to feature a video that I shot the middle of July, and it was visiting our friend Dave's garden. He has a shade garden. His wife Debbie was the video before that, and she has a garden in full sunlight, and it's a flower and vegetable garden, and concentrates on a lot of native planting. But Dave's garden is completely different. He created this garden in the shade. It's like a beautiful walk in a woodland park, and he's done lots and lots of research and played in this garden for many years, and it's absolutely gorgeous. He's the only person I know who told me about hugel mounds. If you've ever heard of hugel mounds, raise your hands. I bet nobody's raising their hands because who's heard of hugel mounds? But Dave has, so he's going to talk about that a little bit in the video we're going to show. And he's just a wealth of information, and it was a lot of fun being with Dave in his garden, and I hope you enjoy it. So take good care of yourselves. I'm sending you love and millions of blessings, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Our first dog, Moses, used this as his area to relieve himself. And it was nothing but dead grass with a couple bushes. And Debbie said, I hate it. We've got to do. So I knew nothing about gardening, so I went and talked to some guy, and he said, well, I can get you a garden. Just in this little area, it'll be about $12,000. And I said, oh, have you lost your mind? So I started reading. And so the paths, none of this was here. This was all lawn. There weren't trees here. There weren't plants. There wasn't even a little wall. This was just lawn. And it was flat lawn. And we started with a couple plants. And I have slowly created this kind of what I call dry stream bed look. But right now, all the green you see is plants we put in that we intended to be here. This is our gateless gate, and you can walk through, watch your step, or you can open it. But it's like passing into another space now. You're now in the woodland garden. It's taken us decades at this point to establish these paths, but now they look like they were always here. You can see I wanted it to look like a wood. I wanted it to look like almost like a national park kind of thing, a woodland path through a park. And it's taken a long time. Paths are left intentionally very much like a woodland path might be. We delineate them with fallen branches and things like that. We have a quasi-invasive Norway maple trees that I keep trying to thin out. I have to replace them with something. And we slowly just change this whole area. And I leave snags up all the time. Whenever a tree comes down, if I can, I leave what I can up. You have to kind of paint with different color greens. Greens and whites and yellows are the predominant colors. People that don't appreciate, that look around and say, well, it's all green. This is actually a fairly, as woodland gardens go, for two people managing it, a fairly well-tended garden, because there aren't a lot of invasives, there aren't a lot of weeds. Most of what you see, we intend to be here. If we don't intend it to be here, then we remove it, try and dig it out. You can see the ligularia. I dug a trench. I couldn't get it to grow, and I wanted it. I wanted the late summer yellow that we get from the ligularia. So I dug a trench, lined it with stone, and directed all the water that comes down this side of the hill to this area, which is exactly what they want. And I put 2 plants in, and now I don't know how many we have, but it definitely likes it here, along with ferns and this arum. And so I'm just, I can change the biology of the area by redirecting water and catching it. Now, what you're starting to see on the left here is my hugel pile. And what I do is I collect all our debris, all our clippings, all our tree trimmings, and they go into a pile. When I let the pile go up to about 6 feet each year, and each year it rots down to about 3 feet. The bottom of this pile is about a foot solid of good soil. I mean, really good soil. So you can see, now eventually these, even though they're very pretty, I can't preserve them, they're going to rot away. But the logs keep the moisture right there in the bed. So they make for a really good planting area. This is what over here on your left is what it looks like as I'm loading these logs on. So you can see the amount of wood it takes to get a good size mound. It's a lot. And I just bring them down in the wheelbarrow. I built this wall using concrete bags they were torn bags that I would get at Home Depot and Lowe's. And I built a wall with them that's about 90 feet long now. And eventually it just kind of recedes into the background. Things grow over it, and it does the job I need it to do, which is to allow a permeable barrier that lets water through but keeps the soil kind of in place. So we're coming back up to the path, the original path we started on. under the big mulberry arch here. Isn't that amazing? That it didn't want to, the tree didn't want to die, and I figured if it doesn't want to die, I certainly don't want to kill it. So from this view you can look out and see Debbie's cutting and vegetable garden. So this is the newest bed. We decided we want to bring the front walk much closer. We want to extend what is a walk much closer to the garden.